80-68 up at Michigan Tech on Saturday to finish the regular season 15-12 overall. Looking back over this game, I mean, Tech shoots 50% from the floor for the day. They've got 5 players in double figures. So you see something like that, and it's one of two things. Defensively, was something not working, or was it just, hey, we caught a really good team, especially a really good team in their own building on an even better day?
Combination of both is what I'm gonna say. I think it was a little bit with our defense, but again, they were knocking down everything that they were throwing up, and someone was like, "Okay," like, and then it happened again, and then it happened again. You're like, "Okay, that's how today's going." So, but yeah, we can still, we take pride in our defense and need to be a little bit better, a little bit tighter with what we were doing. But again, there's a couple times where we got hands in their faces and they're just literally knocking shots down. So, but you got to keep going. I mean, we got one more game right now, and that's what you got to focus on. So that's where we're heading.
Basketball's kind of a funny game like that, isn't it? Where sometimes you do everything right and the ball still goes in, or it doesn't go in, depending on what side you're on. So, like, mentally, how do you kind of compartmentalize something like that? Where after a game like this, you go, okay, well, that's probably, not going to happen like every other time you step on the floor. So just push that one out because we have bigger things to focus on. How do you do that?
Well, it's a big part of it is just focusing on with us. It's like we didn't stop. We kept battling and battling and battling, and they would make a little run, and then we would come back and we made a little run, and we came out firing right out of the gates. I mean, there's a lot of good things that we did too. And a lot of teams, when they're hitting shots like that, some teams just shut down and stop battling. So I told the team afterwards, like, we're proud of the fight. Obviously, it didn't end up in our favor, but we didn't give up. We kept working the entire time. Each possession really mattered, which I think was huge for us.
So then, when the regular season's all said and done, 15-12, mostly this same group had the inverse of that record from a year ago. So where do you feel like, how have you been able to get more out of basically the same group year to year?
Well, I think obviously they got a little bit older. They got a little bit stronger. They did a lot in the off season, which I think was huge, building up, knowing that they wanted to be really good this year. And I think this is a step in the right direction, but it was still a lot of learning when it's a new coach and trying to do things a little bit differently, and kind of just changed a little bit, not a lot, but kind of putting my spin on things is what I like to call it. And they're still kind of figuring that out and feeling that out. And so it's still a learning process, with different games, with different lineups, with different things. We've had some injuries. We've had, all kinds of sickness stuff. I mean, we've been through the ringer, and that's what basketball is too. So it's being able to adapt and make the adjustments along the way. And I think we did that. And I think we still are learning. And there's a ton of upside yet to come.
Well, talking about adapting and adjusting, we've talked a lot about the offense this year. But over these last stretch of games, the Cats have scored above their season average in 5 of the last 6, that one exception being against, just one of the best defenses in the entire country in their building. So that's been the number one problem this year. It's just been inconsistently with scoring the ball. But it feels like that Cats have kind of started to figure that out a little bit. How do you feel about where the offense is at going into the postseason?
I'm happy with it. I mean, even going up to Tech, I mean, we shot 45% from the floor, which we haven't done that a lot this year. So as a coach, you're happy with that. We're getting good shots. We're knocking them down. And we're kind of figuring out our offense right now. And I think it is, too, people are getting a little bit more confident with their shot and with what they're doing. We have a couple more people scoring, which is huge. You need that. And you kind of got to balance it out a little bit. Joel, obviously, Michaela's going to get hers. She does a great job doing it. She searches for her shot every time that she has the ball. But now I think Mac is even stepping up a little bit too in that scoring, but she also does it on the defensive end, and both of them play a ton of minutes. So if we could get some more people to help them and give them a little bit more of a rest, I think we would be a little bit better. But again, we need people to shoot, we need people to score, and we have different people doing it right now. It's just getting them to do it consistently is the biggest challenge.
So that brings us to tomorrow. Saginaw Valley State, GLIAC Quarterfinals here on Wednesday. Both times we played this team this year, it was that close.
Yep.
So, Coach, your thoughts on this matchup?
It's going to be another battle for sure. When we went down there and played them, we were down majority of the game. And we were back and forth. And then we hit some big shots down the stretch, which kind of separated us a little bit. And then when they came up here, again, we had some people out. It was, different. So we're figuring out lineups and switching things around. And you got to stop Zariki. She's one of the top players in our conference. She's quick. She can shoot. She runs around. You got to be able to slow her down. And then DePerry, to their post players, like those two are two people that they put up almost 50 points between the two of them. So you got to slow those two down and then contain everybody else. It's going to be another battle defensively for us. But again, we got to get the ball out. We got to be able to score on the offensive side and handling their press because we know it's coming. We had 19 turnovers, I think, the first time at their place and 17 at ours. So we're averaging about 18 when we play them. So if we can handle the ball a little bit, I think that's going to be a key to our success tomorrow.
I wanted to ask, looking back this last weekend, Taya was someone who stood out to me. She was making plays all over the place, mostly on the defensive end, loose ball, jump ball, just like hustle, grit type plays.
Yep.
Do you have someone that comes to mind as like someone who's a catalyst for you guys? Like they get on the floor and they're making those kind of plays and are almost like an energy and just that type of person? Is there anyone that jumps out like her?
You named it. It's Taya. She goes on the best player of every team that we play if there's a guard. She does a great job with it. She's one of our toughest kids. And she's not afraid to make those big plays. And we kind of give her the freedom to do that. But she's tough and she's aggressive. Now she's actually starting to shoot a little bit more too. So she's getting it done on both ends, which is great. She's looking to attack the basket a little bit more. But she's one that we can just say, hey, Taya, she's all yours. And she's like, okay, I got you, coach. I'm like, okay. So, but we rely on her a lot with her defense and just making those tough plays and charges too. I mean, she's not afraid to take a charge either.
I was pleasantly surprised when she started pulling up from three the other day, and I was like, I just haven't seen enough of that. She's not bad at it.
No.
So I
No.
think that's huge. I mean, if you got to take care of this game first, but then you end up going on the road potentially to play deeper into the conference tournament, and that's such a capability to go into someone's building and just totally take out their number one threat, or shouldn't not totally, but
Yep.
minimize it to your best ability. So
Yep.
I think
Yep.
that's huge.
Yeah, and we didn't have her the last time that we played Saginaw at home. So that's a big thing. She's going to come out and, she's going to be on Zariki. It's not a question about it. It's just but it's everybody else too who's got to help Taya out. Just because she is running around crazy with her, she's got to slow her down a little bit. But everybody else, there's people that we can help off of, and we need to do that. But Taya does a great job, and it's fun to have her out there because she's always going to make a play doing something.